There you go.
Good morning and welcome to Lyra Clinical Skin Excellence Roundtable. My name is Ella Cressman. I'm a part of Lyra Clinical's Education Department, and we're also joined by Tiffany McLaughlin, who is our Executive Education member, and Francine Kagaraikis, board member and co-founder, Metaxia Delikas, board member and co-founder, and David Wagoner, who is our business development partner in the Southwest. We also have Brenda Cumming is online as well, and we're working on getting her in here. But Brenda, if you can unmute and say hello. If not, we'll get to it. So
I'm unmuted. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Brenda.
There she is. I couldn't see the button. Sorry.
It's okay.
Morning.
It's funny. We are. I heard recently that we are human beings having human experiences, and that we need to remember that we're not machines.
Thank you, Ella.
Yes. Good morning again. And today we're going to talk about a very exciting topic and a very interesting month, the month of May. It's my favorite month because it's my birthday month, but for a lot of other reasons.
Wait, it is?
Yeah, in case you didn't hear.
Yeah.
It's a very busy month too. Spring is in full bloom. The longer days call us outdoors and inspire vacation planning, of course, which I love. The kids are winding down the school year, and many students are graduating to the next level of their journey. As professional skincare practitioners, there is always opportunity for us to also graduate our skill sets. And with that in mind, we want to talk about that today. We want to talk about leveling up. What does that mean? Leveling up in technique, in approach, or in advancing to different resurfacing solutions. Before we get to that, let's talk about a few housekeeping, the fun stuff. We want to first say, we want to hear from you. So you'll notice on the right-hand side of your screen, there's an opportunity there to ask questions. We're going to encourage you to ask away. We might not get to them during that particular topic, but we are definitely going to answer them within this broadcast. The other thing is, guess what? We're going to have a drawing. So we are going to have a drawing for an essentials kit, and so we're going to pick a number for the number of attendees, and we're going to do so at the end. So be sure to stay tuned. Exciting, right? Everyone excited? Cool. So with that, let's talk about what does it mean to graduate to the next level of peels. Obviously, with Lyra Clinical, we have our smart peels, and there are, if you'll notice, in new packaging. Our smart peels allow for a lot of graduation, but before we get to that, let's talk about a few myth busters. What do you guys think? You want to bust the myths?
Ella, I would like to kind of start with what is a smart peel. And it's really important to understand that we kind of associate it to the phones that we have today versus the phones of the past. And the phones of the past were limited to just communication and really kind of stuck to a wall socket. And the phones have changed with so much technology that we use them for multiple things. Actually, it's our office. It's our office. We use it for everything. And in that type of theory, we kind of thought the smart peels had the same kind of opportunity to give the estheticians multiple ways to use them and benefits that we didn't kind of think about years ago. So the smart peels that we have here are designed with the latest formulations and technology to offer multiple opportunities to do multiple things, not just a single type of correction on a condition, but multiple things. So we believe in Lyra here that our smart peels are the best in the industry because of the opportunities they give us as aesthetic practitioners. It gives us so many different options that we are using them multiple ways for multiple benefits.
And Lyra began with the peels in 2010. It was only the peels at that point where we did a lot of beta testing at this time to perfect them, to make sure that we knew how they worked and what they were doing. And then we continued with the next peel series in 2013. So we're very excited to say we began with the peels and moved on from there, and products, everything now works around it.
You bring up a good point too, because when you're looking at the analogy of a phone specifically, I don't know that we don't take the technology for granted. Metaxia talked about having the phones that were attached to the wall, and I remember actually the first time I ever heard call waiting. I remember exactly how old I was. I was like, what is that weird sound? Because before that, we would just someone was on the line and you'd get a busy signal. And call waiting was really an advancement, right? Whoa, we can have 2 calls at once, or we won't miss a call. And then the advent of caller ID, and then those things were amazing at the time. Star 69, do you guys remember that?
I do.
You cannot
Star 69 to
timeline when you could combine people together and then you could chat with more than one friend at the same time.
3-way
Awesome.
calling. Yeah, we thought that was multiple benefits. And now we look at our phones and it's like we don't even have to. I use mine to go, like, I speak into it. I don't even type anymore. Hey, how do I get to somewhere I've gone 100 times? And that's because it's so efficient. It tells me if there's traffic ahead, right?
Well, I remember when we first got introduced to glycolic, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to change the industry. And glycolic was such a new experience, a new opportunity to do something different. So there are memorable moments of what all of a sudden you have something new that you could actually use and open up your, your just mind in so many things. So yeah, you don't forget those moments. I remember specifically that glycolic training that we had in the doctor's office. I will never forget it. I was just,
you're dating yourself quite a bit back there. Whoa. Those are the dark ages. Wow. I think that was the horse and buggy days.
Oh, yes.
No cell phones, no internet. Yeah, we were just.
Way back there, just burning your face and keep going, keep going.
Hey, but Ella, on this here, I love how you've named this presentation this morning, Graduate to the Next Level of Peeling. Everybody out there, why don't you say this to your clients who have that myth of, hey, you don't know me, but I want the harshest thing you got. I don't use sunscreen. Come on, give it to me. On my skin, you know what? You need to stop and say, oh, hey, you know what? I do my job differently here. I'm going to graduate you to the next level of peeling. So you work with me for a while. We're going to challenge your skin, but you'll always be in a forward motion. You're going to graduate. So that's what I really responded to as we worked on developing this. I love that word. Of course, it fits the time of the year, but isn't that what people try to do? They want to come in and go from A to B to C, and that's what you're looking at here,
Absolutely.
Use that word. I love language. You guys know I like language a lot, so I like how to get that in there with people,
Well, you bring up a great point, David. Why don't we look at a myth? Let's look at a myth because there are some industry standard thinking, right? You bring up a great point with our first myth buster. Okay, everybody, drum roll, please. If your face isn't falling off, you're not getting results. And I see this a lot on social media posts or in other practitioners asking, I want to get my clients to peel, or I want a deep peel. And often I ask to myself, not always do I respond at literally, but like, for what? Why do you want to get there? What do you guys think about this one? If your face isn't falling off, you're not getting results.
Well, I think as a society, we like to say that, I've always questioned students like, hey, we know that peels really don't typically perform like what's on the picture on the screen right now. Even strong peels that do elicit sheeting don't really, it's not like just a saran wrap typically like that. So even with this, don't use this type of marketing. Don't talk like this. Don't show them these types of pictures, because when you do that, you give false impressions to your clients. So we need to stop that kind of false advertising and start re-educating the American public again.
Well, I could tell you
And
what we learned. Sorry, David, what we learned from doing it, like Francine says, back with the carriage and buggies here. We learned that inflammation was never considered back then, that we wanted to trigger the fibroblast and we wanted to get a wound so that we would have a response. And inflammation has become now a key word for aging. We learned that we have ingredients that communicate and cause the communication so that we can stimulate elastin and collagen. It was the only thing we had. And literally, we thinned out the skin. So we even had the glycolic junkies, we called them, the clients that would come back for more and more glycolic peels because they wanted that saran wrap, that thinning out, that tightening, which caused the epidermis to be damaged and sometimes permanent damage, because you have to respect the epidermis, and you don't have to peel to get a correction. You don't have to, there is sources for that. We can peel someone's skin. We have to consider the pre-conditioning of that skin, the actual application of that peel to peel and how much peeling you want, and the post-care, because one peel is not going to give you a result. It's understanding that we have options, and we learned that from our mistakes in the past. We've put it all together and really kind of sophisticated, in a way, sophisticated aesthetics so that we can do a lot more with less downtime. And I think that's where it's at. We aren't hiding or going in our homes for 7 days because we are so bruised and that pigment coming to the surface, or we're peeling and sheeting our skin off and trying to get a result. There is no downtime in most of the services that we're offering right now.
No, but you're right about one thing. This was expected in the 80s, and okay, we're dating ourselves. We got it. But the key here is this was expected. It was the normal. We were triggering inflammation. We were trying to get more collagen, as Metaxia is saying. It was the norm at the time. What they found out in the 90s is that people with pigment issues weren't able to get these treatments because now we were causing hyperpigmentation and causing other issues. Then we're getting skin sensitivities and we're having more rosacea. There's so many things that were happening because they were too aggressive for many people. We can still today do more active peels on the right candidate, on the right person, with the right conditioning, with the right preparation, with the right treatment, with the right post-care. We can do this. Do we always have to? Of course not. Somebody like me who always had to deal with melasma and pigment issues, it was not the peel of choice because I was triggered, I had more pigment, I was dry. It was just not the right peel for me. On the other hand, for Metaxia, it was perfect. She was able to tolerate it. She did great with more aggressive peels, and I did not. So what was good for one person was not good for every person. And the key here today is we are able to get the same results with multiple protocols as long as we're getting the results that we need with less damage to the skin.
And multiple global types, skin types. For example, office factor type. Back in the past, we only were trying to pick the lighter skin tones to do some correction, and the darker skin tones we were kind of shying away because of the risk of the hyper and hypo. Remember, it's a photosensitivity. Once you take all that epidermis off, you become very sensitive to even cleansing your face. You have that inflammation lingering on for days. So when the melanocytes are up closer to the surface, you don't want to trigger them and cause them to be in an alert state so that you can have more pigment surfacing or destruction of the melanocytes, which is really with scarring on the darker skin tone. So we've graduated, like David said, to another level that global skin, we could treat all global skin with the less of the risk, with the proper pre and post care and the proper training.
And I don't know if you remember, Metaxia was using me on as a demo. And Jesner's, my skin, I have to say it because it's a good story. And I had a meeting the next 2 days. I go, no, just do one. She goes, no problem, no problem. My skin reacted to Jesner beautifully. It wasn't a problem. But it was a hormonal skin that day. And at that time, as she was doing the first layer on the Jesner, I started flaring. And she was going to do only 2 or 3 layers, and my skin could tolerate it. But that time of month, it could not. So we're talking way back. All right. So what happened is, as I was there on the table,
tolerate it, period.
What did you say?
Period. I said I couldn't tolerate it. Period. Not the
period.
Exclamation point.
Sat there, and everybody's standing around, and she's saying, "Now we're going to do 2 more layers," because usually I was able to tolerate it. And I said in Greek on the side of my mouth, "Do not touch me again. I'm flaring right now," and it's not happening. So Metaxia very, very eloquently turned around and says, "And now you saw the application, and let me show you how we can go ahead and finish it." So again, it was just the wrong time for me, even though I was able to tolerate it. That Jesner I tolerated 2 and 3 layers multiple times. That day I could not. So you do have to look at your client, see what's going on with their skin, and identify them and see what the skin needs that day.
And what the lifestyle, I mean, that's just an excellent point, Fran. One time I was at that Brenda's office and we were doing a peel training, and we needed a model. And I was a model. And Those who know me know that I don't do well in snow. Even though I live in Colorado, driving in snow because of everyone else freaks me out. So we're up at Brenda's gorgeous office in beautiful Evergreen, Colorado, and there is these beautiful fluffy flakes starting to fall. By the time I get to the highway and head what they say down the hill, which is a steep incline, it is a full-on, in my mind, blizzard. It was probably just a regular snowstorm, but in my anxiety state, it was a blizzard and so on. Well, I had so much anxiety coming down the hill that I reactivated my peel. And so I had to decide between like driving and focusing and then also concerned about reactivating my peel. So I like Ace Ventura'd it. Like I rolled down my window to get snow falling to put on my face to like stop the reaction too. So those are other considerations, what you got going on. I looked great. I looked great afterwards. But.
David, how about you? Do you have a story about peeling?
You know what? I would respond to this kind of like what you said, Francine. I had everybody else in the middle 90s was that cookie cutter peel. You know, we have it, put it on. Here's this, get it on your skin. Too much for you, tough it out. You can do it. You know, and no longer, you know, those days are kind of beyond us now, or gone by us, because of, you said it, Metaxia, this sophistication of ingredients these days. You know, we can kind of slip by the inflammatory response. Things are a lot more comfortable. So as an esthetician, we kind of got our work cut out for us, don't we, to change the language that we use to help people envision these peels differently. These are not the peels of your grandmother or your mother or whatever, like we've been saying. And I like that a lot. You know, I have clients that they don't necessarily want to get beat up or tensed up, just like what you said, Ella. They don't want to go through that. So here we are with these beautiful peels. You can, you know, do them and people have great results without too much downtime or too much sensation. And I like that too. Now we can get up with the sensation too, you know.
I think you need to, at least from my point of view, is I think we have a lot more respect for our barrier function now than we did back then.
Yeah.
Understanding that if someone's barrier, you know, is compromised, maybe, you know, those more progressive peels are not necessarily going to be, you know, what we're going to grab for first. But we also have the ability with our smart peel formulations that we have, you know, a full spectrum of solutions that we can choose from. So when someone that's maybe pre-rosacea or they are coming in and they don't, you know, they've never had a treatment before, but they do want to see results, we have the ability to offer them a solution and to offer them correction, which, you know, back then we didn't have that option.
Cookie cutter, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tiffany, also like in school, we were taught how to peel, right? You have a lot of experience in school as a director in writing a curriculum, but in school we were taught about peeling. But the thing I think that missed the mark, and tell me your opinion on this, is really the idea of the pre and post beyond just like the 2 weeks sample size that you get for post. The thought of strengthening the skin to receive these resurfacing modalities and then continuing with the results. It's more than just correction.
Absolutely. And that's where you made a good, how should I say, that word choice, strengthening the skin. You know, it wasn't necessarily strengthening the skin, but we prepped the skin. You know, are you ready? Are you prepared? When I think of even now, sometimes when we prep the skin, I always think of the preppers, right? That they need to make sure that if they, you know, the zombies come, everybody has all of their stuff, right? Because this massive event is going to happen. So we got to be prepped. So we got to prep the skin, right? And we don't necessarily want to do that to the skin. For me, I'm not, you know, I don't necessarily want the zombie apocalypse, right? I kind of like the way things are right now. And so that's one of the key things is conditioning it and doing it on a daily basis. We have so many other options and opportunities to be able to allow our skin to maintain that healthy state.
And one more thing I want to add, how many of you heard of dry peeling, where you didn't hydrate the skin, letting it kind of fall off dramatically? We also found with years and years of experience, you want hydration when the skin is going through the healing process. It's similar to getting an IV when you're getting a procedure in the hospital. You want hydration. The skin will heal better when it's well hydrated, and the health of the epidermis is a value to the post-care. So dry peeling many years ago was very popular because you wanted that theatrical look almost of that skin coming off. And that really caused the skin to kind of work harder, not smarter. And so we've learned that hydration and post-care, as we call it, is crucial to hydrating and bringing the skin back to a healthy state and plumping it up. Because what you find is youth is plump and even toned. It's not thin out where it doesn't have a bounce to it, and it's uneven. So remember, hydration is key to a proper post-care of any treatment that you do, especially when you're doing strong chemical peels.
Good point. And a great segue to our next myth buster. Are you guys ready? Our next myth to bust. This is one of my favorite myth busters, and it goes into what Metaxi was talking about, healthy skin, hydrated skin, and being appropriate. Resurfacing is only seasonally appropriate in the fall and sometimes in the spring. What do you guys think about that?
We taught that for years. We had a seasonal peels schedule, and we've learned to change that philosophy with our smart peels. And I'll let someone else jump in because we taught it, I think, almost 15 years that we really encourage peeling on a seasonal level.
A little more than that. Yeah, it's a little more than 15. Just letting you know.
How compliant is your client? Are they sunscreen compliant? Are they going to follow your outline? Are they going to, use your home care? I peel people here in the summertime. It's not the harshest thing ever, but you can keep that exfoliation going if you're sunscreen compliant and they've got everything on board. So I see this I like your little picture here. You can peel all seasons. I think people tend to think about fall and early spring more as peeling time, and that's okay.
You're right, David, on that one. You're right about that, because to this day, when August and September come around, it is, in our opinion, the peel season. It's not even spring, it's August, September. And one of the reasons is because we're taking care of the damage that we did in the summer. We're taking care of all of, what we need to, and we're getting ready for the holidays. You're getting ready for Thanksgiving and everything. So you start that process. You start school, you start your skincare regimen. You just sort of, football begins, all this stuff just starts moving. But the problem is, and I think we were laughing about this the other day, is when you're ready to go on vacation, you still want to look nice. Before I go on vacation, before I start traveling, I still want to look good before that. So we do peels all season round, and we do have certain ones that you can do, from hybrids, to possibly GPS2 during this time, just to make sure you freshen the skin, prepare it. And as you said, David, protect it, because now I just cleaned it up. I don't want to damage it, so I need to protect it at this time. So we are excited to say we can do it all year round, but we have found that during that August, September, October time, it is the favorite time, not the only time, but the favorite time.
Right.
You know what, you got me thinking of a great analogy. I'm an analogy gal. And you just said it, Fran, you said football season, right? And so the way I like to think about it, I love to compare skin and skin health to athletics, because I think it's a good visual, or a good correlation for clients. So when you think about peeling and you think about football, you might not think that they have a lot in common, but football season is in the fall, right? That's when they're going hard. That's when they're having a lot of the games, but they're still training in the off season so that they can perform better in their playing season. And so that's a good way to think about peels, or this resurfacing, or this initiating or stimulating part of what we've got going on, is that you're still training the skin in the off season so that you can look good when you're going on vacation, or there's not as much work to do and you're playing at optimal performance when it's game day.
Well,
And you're taking, sorry, Tip, go ahead.
I was just going to say, keeping in mind with two boys in football, and I know at least Brenda's had boys in football as well, is they actually have to go through a process in the summertime where they call it weather acclimation. that they actually practice in the early hours of the morning, and then they practice in the evening to make sure that all of those boys are acclimated to the heat. Here in Utah, it's still very, very warm in August, and it can stay warm into September. And so that is part of that actual athletic curriculum, that they have to be able to participate to acclimate their bodies to the heat. And with seasonal treatments, summer might not be where you're going heavy-handed with your correction on your skin, but it's a wonderful time to maintain as well as prevent anything else coming forward into the skin, which also enables you as a business owner to still be able to have your business year round. I don't know about anybody else, but and maybe Ella can attribute to this, but you don't necessarily want to close your doors or go part-time, for 6 months out of the year. Let's make sure that we're busy all the time year round. And
Well,
that's
yeah,
where I think hybrid treatments are amazing.
They are. I just wanted to tell you, when you're bringing up football, it's a great, another analogy is a Super Bowl team is able to run the ball to every 10 yards and keep that ball moving. It's not always a Hail Mary. So the Super Bowl teams need to have a good running game to be in that league and to be the #1 team. So you have to be able to run that ball every 10 yards. So you're going to have to do treatments and treatments to get to the end zone.
Fran, I'm going to add to that. Now we're talking football. If you notice, the plays are different. The plays are not consistent.
There you go. That was good too.
So we have different peels. We have different peels because you don't do the same thing over and over again, because the competitor on the other end will know exactly how to respond. The skin is a moving target also. So if you do the same thing over and over again, the skin becomes acclimated to that treatment and doesn't give you that performance or that result. So the fact that we need to keep the skin in motion, we need to give the skin options, we need to kind of prepare for a vacation and give the skin a realignment with a Vitabright, for example, or a peel of selection. Our peels are sophisticated and smart to bring energy and realign and put the skin at its best for a vacation, coming back from a vacation, doing preparation for the Super Bowl. But there again, it's keeping the skin surprised, and that's where I think it all comes together with a football analysis.
So
Aaron Rodgers will
Absolutely.
always throw the ball. Sometimes he hands it, to Devontae Adams or Jay Alexander. Just saying.
What a great segue to the next myth. Ready? This is something that we were taught in school. Well, I was taught in school, and I might be dating myself, but when we were taught to do, we'll talk about series in a minute, but what acids do what resurfacing agents do what. And so salicylic is for acne, glycolic acid is for aging. Stay in one lane and no one gets hurt. Let's talk about that. This would be like to Metaxia's analogy. It would be the same play over and over and over again.
We only had a glycolic to kind of get so excited that we thought a series of 6 was going to give us every result that we wanted. And we learned the hard way that people don't have 6 weeks to see a result. And it was based on more time left on the skin. It was based on just a rhythm of, exfoliation, but it's more than that. Peels deliver ingredients in the epidermis, and they need a variety of ingredients that benefit a variety of different things. So that myth, I think, I still laugh, and it's probably still in some of the textbooks for the aesthetic programs, but no, we have options and we have opportunities to do a lot more than just one peel.
Well, and I think people now and here at Lyra Clinical, we always address the co-issues. If someone is aging, are you telling me that they don't have any pigment? What? I mean, same thing with acne. Even with acne, I mean, how many times do people come in with adult acne and they're like, well, I thought my acne was done and now it's coming back, and they're like, I'm 45 years old. And you're like, yeah, pigment, aging, acne, let's address it all. So that's where, absolutely. And where we have our smart peel formulations, glycolic and salicylic. We combine glycolic with retinol, and we have these amazing combinations that have the ability to address all co-issues.
I think one thing what we mentioned schools, or when we're trying to learn this, I think sometimes schools teach here's your acids, here's your ingredients. But you know what they leave out? Skin analysis, because we covered that last month. We covered that last month, and then they don't talk to students about, hey, you got to have a good skin analysis and realign your ingredients with what we just learned about skin analysis. So it always comes back to skin analysis and what does the skin need, right? That's kind of what we've been saying. And what I would like to plug out there for just kind of what's on the screen here is you guys, Lyra reps can help you through all your ingredients and how we talk about access. So as you're learning about ingredients, if things are confusing, contact us out there. I'm a rep. I know there's other reps on the presentation this morning. So take advantage of it. Don't learn your ingredients just in isolation. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. They're meaningful for skin analysis.
No, you're right. But to this day, somebody will come up, let's say at a trade show, and they go, okay, which peel do I need for pigmentation? Oh, we all know lactic works, but the problem for us is we know that they all work. We know how to take one peel and manipulate it to the point where you can make it stronger. We can go ahead and seal it. We can go ahead and prep it. We can do multiple things with multiple peels to get the same results. So the cool thing about this is that we are able to take a particular smart peel and manipulate it to the point we're able to get results for all skin conditions. And that's the key, because each formulation has multiple ingredients, as Tiffany was saying a little earlier. So we're going to be able to deal with all skin conditions by either elevating the peel or sealing the peel or prepping the peel, doing so many different things to get those results.
Well,
That's what I do every day too. Oh, sorry, Metaxa, go ahead.
No, it's important. Salicylic is lipid soluble. Glycolic is water soluble. What the schools need to kind of understand is that not all peels are created equal. And what Fran says, the formulations have changed in a way that you can combine certain ingredients to give you better penetration. There's a lot more involved in the formulations today, but it's not strictly one modality for one condition. It's not. And you're right, David. We're focusing on just applying a peel and understanding the function of the peel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What I like to do every day, it happened to me again yesterday, is I have a client who's been she's been coming to me about 4 months now, and she started coming to me for acne, and guess what? We did not start with salicylic. We did do salicylic recently, but we didn't start with salicylic. So yesterday I'm thinking, how am I gonna, what needs to happen today? So I never think about what I'm necessarily going to do too far ahead of time. I do keep the 3D peel treatment in the back of my head, the philosophy. But looking at her yesterday, I realized she needed salicylic. She needed salicylic because it's a change in season, but also where her skin was that day. And so the initial consultation is perfect. Also considering home care, and also what is your client going to be using at home for pre and post, you know?
Right.
And I think schools at this point too, I was a director of the school, and we really tried to work on critical thinking. Back to metaxia, you've got to know your ingredients as it relates to skin analysis, it relates to that person in front of you. We don't want to create little robots like, oh, I've got to do a salicylic peel, it's oily skin, you know. So I would always kind of talk to students, what do you think? What do you see upon the skin here? Let's talk about ingredients as it relates to skin analysis.
I think that brings us to our next myth too, which is another one. Metaxia kind of touched on it too, and then I see it coming because just to add to what we've been talking about of, oh, I'm going to do a salicylic peel, and not only am I going to do one, but I'm going to do 6, because every client or patient needs a series of 6 treatments with the exact same protocol, spaced out every 2 weeks, twice a year. This was something that I learned in school. What about you?
Same here. Yeah, you know, they kind of taught this, so I think it's easier, but then like we've been talking about, our theme today is, you know, we've gotten smarter with ingredients, and technology has delivered how we're treating the skin in a very sophisticated way. And that's another word I like, metaxia, a lot. You know, so we need to talk to our clients about this. Again, this isn't the peel of your grandmother's era or your mother's era. Things have changed. Let's bring you along. And you might even want to say, hey, that's a myth. You know, we're always in the business as estheticians of re-educating clients. things kind of come and go, and new things come into our world, and we need to talk about that. And this is one of those.
Well,
One of the
it's really,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Fran.
No, I was going to say one of the reasons they did the 6 is because they were not able to use a low pH as the physicians were able to use. So the way they were going to do it is by doing it every week so they can get to a little stronger of a peel. But what we have found, and this is why a lot of our 3D, as Ella's saying, is we understand what salicylic does as a lipid soluble opens the door to allow that AHA to drop down even deeper. So understanding the solutions, we're able to actually do the treatments in a more, as you said, David, sophisticated manner, so we can get the results and not just do the basic once a week with the same solution. We get better results understanding how to use the solutions and how to manipulate them to make them a little more active.
Well, sophisticated means to me giving what the skin needs, doing a treatment for what that skin needs on that time. For example, your skin, when we were playing with the Jessner, did not need that second or third layer. It's what the skin needs. We are customizing, and that's the success of what we see in the industry. It's the art of aesthetics. It's understanding the proper assessment, understanding and communicating with the skin. So you can start a protocol, but all of a sudden notice that the skin is giving you a different sign, and stop and reevaluate and assess as you go. It's what the skin needs at that particular time. A day before, exposure to the sun can cause the skin to be more sensitive to a treatment versus not being exposed to the sun. Medications, a time of the month, a variety of different things. But we are so, in this industry, is again, it's not one way, the only way. It's understanding we have options. We have multiple things that we can add to a treatment that can make it specific for that patient, and keeping the skin in motion. What we realize is that it's not just a series of 6 or 3 a certain time of the year. You want to keep the skin in motion. And going back to football, you got to train, and the training is not, just one-time training that you could be good enough to go to the Super Bowl. It's not going to a dentist and getting a good teeth cleaning and saying you don't have to keep up with, brushing your teeth and flossing every day. You have to understand that the skin is in motion and it needs to be respected that way, and keeping it at its best health. And that means assessing it as we go. Home care needs to be assessed, especially, seasonal changes. Treatments have to be assessed, but that's what Smart Peels and our Lyra philosophy is. It's a sophistication of what the skin needs in a way that we have our resources, as far as our reps that train, as far as what we believe, as far as our educational team. It's all about giving you current information, current technology with the best ingredients in the market.
What you
There's
said was
something else
important.
too. Go ahead, Fran. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, keeping the skin in motion is very, very important, as we have changed. It's not only in-clinic treatments and home care, it's in-clinic treatments, home treatments, and home care. So it's ongoing. In-clinic is a jump start. In-clinic is an analysis. In-clinic is the coach telling you which way to go, change products. Keep, because after a while, use the same product over and over again, it's not going to do what it needs to be doing. You need to change them up. Keeping the skin in motion is why they need a skincare professional guiding them, showing them how to use home care treatments, showing them when to stop the home care treatment, go to the home care, and maintaining with all the customized in-clinic treatments to keep that skin in motion and keep melanin managed, and to make sure your acne is under control, your rosacea is not inflamed. All of this is done when you have a skincare professional who uses in-clinic home treatments and home care. That makes a big difference.
And I think this is what I wanted to add on to what you said, Fran, is that you said something super important, is that we were doing these 6 treatments because we couldn't do deeper. And the other thing we weren't doing, and I think this is one of the biggest industry fails, is something that we speak a lot about too, is like we weren't selling retail because we didn't want to sell to them, but because we were practitioners, we're not salespeople. But the truth is, if you're not selling retail or encouraging this entire system of synergy, then you're failing your clients, because they're going to get it from somewhere. And the other part of that is they're not encouraging that continued skin success, or the correction, or the prevention, or the maintenance. None of that is happening without the home care. And I like to think of it in a shape, and did you know, fun fact, that a triangle is actually the strongest structure? So when you're looking at the triangle of in-clinic treatments, home care, and home treatments, that is going to make the strongest skin. That's number one. The other thing I wanted to add too, as
I like that.
business,
This goes to this. Like it. Okay.
yeah, as a business owner myself, because I'm a practicing esthetician, of course, and so as a business owner, I don't want to see my clients maybe twice a year for 6 or 12 weeks. I want an ongoing relationship with them, because if I have an ongoing relationship with them, there's a lot of things that happen with that. Number one, I have a greater opportunity to change things, and to Fran's point, I can adjust what their home care or their home treatments are. The other thing is they look so good that it's free marketing for me. And so that's what the relationship that I want. I want to be able to count on that as well. I don't want to be in a summertime lull, which happens. I don't want to do that. So I'm encouraging this ongoing relationship. So maybe I do turn up the heat in the fall, but I still can do an amazingly effective hybrid in May or June or July, you know?
To always look good.
Yeah.
But it's creating the expectation, Ella. You said you have a client, they come into you. I think some clients say, hey, here I am, first time client, peel me right away. But that's typically not how it rolls out. You have some time, so you set the expectation. We talk about that a lot too. What's your client saying on that first time? You're just a general facial. Well, if they're talking about aggressive and this and that, and I had this and that, that gives you time to kind of get in there and kind of retune their thinking, kind of offer them the language that you need them to hear to move them forward, to re-educate them, and then get them down into peel land later. And then they have kind of this misconceptions like we're talking about. You've unraveled that. So if you're out there listening today, I know we're talking about a lot. It takes some time to do all this, but you got to keep at it and watch your language, and it really helps people to just reimagine what they're doing in skincare these days.
Well, and I think our luxury treatment guides that we come out with twice a year are a beautiful treatment to introduce your clients to Lyra. They're also kind of my favorite treatments and go-to treatments during those summer months or those extreme weather months. They work so beautifully to be able to, initiate a client, but once again, that maintenance, that prevention, it works so nicely. And if you do have maybe those younger clients that don't need the heavy correction, these are perfect for them as well. Mom and daughter come in, graduation present, woohoo, whatever, they both come in and can receive the same treatment, and it just works beautifully. I have to say, the anti-aging elements treatment in that guide, one of my favorite hybrid treatments that we have done thus far overall. The combination is beautiful for results.
And a little sneak background check, in 2011 is when we started the hybrid treatments, because we started with peels and we sort of fell into it. And what we found is that we want people to have excitement the first time they come in. We want them to have results the first time they come in. So by hybrid a peel, can't even say it correctly today, you're able to get results that day, but you're going to be able to put all these other ingredients in there, so you're going to see results to wow that client the first time they come in. That's very important.
And what's really
Amazon Prime attention span, right?
Yeah. What's really cool is these smart peels are designed to do multiple things, where we're kind of going back to that graduate to the next level. Our peels are not just one way. They're not just for a certain time of the year. With this guide, we have created so many things that are cost efficient for your back bar. You're saving money because you're using the smart peels multiple different ways. Your creativity is endless to what you could do. Your positioning the peels can be also taught in a way that will keep the skin excited. So there is so many options. It's very similar to the phone. We can do so much more with smart peels that we could not do before. And that's where I think all of us should be really very fortunate to be in this time, in this era, now that we could offer a lot more in the aesthetic industry. And we pride ourselves here in Lyra that we are, I think, one of the only companies that offer the hybrid thought process, because our smart peel technology is there to support it.
Let's
And
talk
it's
about that then.
don't get out. You know what I'm saying, Metaxia? Your formulations are so
Yeah.
elegant to work with, and people respond to that too. So we're coming at it from an ingredient, but how does it feel? And if, you know, feel on the skin, and people like that too. So, you know, that's a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Good point. Let's talk about then, what does it mean to graduate to the next level of peeling? David, I think you kind of started to touch on something there. You want to go?
Oh, my final thoughts on this is, I think we've been saying it, you're positioning your, you know, what's it mean to graduate? Well, you're offering your clients new language, new words to describe services that you're doing. You're describing your ingredient systems. You're going back to skin analysis. And Francine, you've said that skin in motion, you're the coach. You know, you're doing in treatments, you're at home treatments and home care keeps that skin moving. And you, estheticians out there, are positioning yourself as the coach to graduate people along the way. So kind of keep that coaching aspect in mind. I like that a lot.
But graduating also means maintaining. You see these great, beautiful before and after. You know, when you're getting results like this picture, it's so exciting. But this also has to be maintained. And so I guess it's CEU units at this point. So we have to keep it going and ongoing training to keep up with everything going on. But to get to this point, now there's a maintenance to keep it up. So she's here, and now we have to maintain her continuing on to keep her skin beautiful.
We met this esthetician, Ella. I think you talked to her, Tiffany.
Oh,
you
yeah.
talked to her. We met her
We
in
both
one of
have,
the
yeah,
churches.
she's amazing. I love her.
And you know,
Yeah, she's down in Texas, and
Is she the sexiest?
her primary clientele base is, I would say, fits 4 to 6. Most of them are in your higher fits range, and that's where, I mean, if anyone has not followed her on social media, I would encourage you to do so. She does have some amazing before and afters, but this picture in and of itself, for me, is the epitome of graduating to the next level of peeling. Because when I got into skincare overall 20 plus years ago, I mean, we wouldn't be showing a picture like this. You know, the opportunity wouldn't have presented itself to a client like this because of her fits type, as well as, obviously, you can see from the before and after that we're not just addressing the acne, we're addressing pigmentation, and we're also addressing aging with the texture of her skin. And so that's all of those encompass that. This, to me, is a beautiful visual of graduating to the next level, because, you know, we couldn't do that before, but now we can. And I think the other thing to consider is the fact that Lyra Clinical's combination of ingredients, and some people back in the day used to kind of make fun of me because I'd go, it's in the combination. But it truly is. It's where, you know, I do have to give a shout out to all of our co-founders, because it's those combination of ingredients that they have carefully crafted and put together that gives you the opportunity to be able to correct skin this way. And that is not in every single clinical line out there. And that's what makes Lyra so unique with our Smart Peel formulations.
I agree.
For me, it's, we got to be honest. Being a Lyra clinical practitioner, I've said it before and I'm going to say it forever, is so much fun. And so for me, graduating to the next level of peels is a great illustration here. We found that sexy Esty in our Lyra Clinicals Facebook pros group, and she had posted it before and after, and we reached out and said, how'd you do that? We want to know. It's real people, it's real results. And I find the same in my practice, that I'm able to provide amazing results. And so what Lyra's doing is so cool, is we're not using stock photos. We're using real client photos from real Lyra clinical practitioners. And I think that is all to say, hey, you can do it. And graduating to the next level, even with our new peel sizes that are coming out, it makes, first of all, it keeps things super fresh, but also it's going to give that ability to combine and do the GPS 2, 3s, and 4s, you know, a little bit different. So to Fran's point of making sure that you continue your education because there's something coming out all the time. To Tiffany's point with these seasonal guides and we're using things in different ways, we're constantly thinking of how to do things in a way that's going to create results like this. And to me, that is graduating to the next level.
And Ella, you brought up the new sizes of the peels. We're very excited about it because as we graduate to different levels of peeling, there's something called cocktailing. So we're able to cocktail and you become your own chemist. So the new sizes will allow you to do more of that, doing quadrant peels, doing different peels. So it's not just one peel. So the new sizes will benefit everyone.
I think keeping us current, I think understanding that it is a art, aesthetics is an art, and you could always improve the art, you could always improve techniques. And I think the team here is an example of Lyra's mindset. We listen, we have a good team around us. It's not about a person, it's about a group of people who love skincare, who are trying to be as professional and share that information in the industry. And I think taking these classes from the local representatives is really important, keeping in touch. We do have that resource out there because we're learning and we're sharing, and our representatives are giving us feedback from what you guys are telling them. It's an open forum both ways. We're communicating. If there's a question, we want to hear it. If there's a before and after, we want to share it. We want to share your success because your success is Lyra's success. And it's important to know that, you know, we want to kind of, you know, showcase you guys too. So please send the before and afters to the representatives. We'll definitely keep you showcased in some of the before and afters. Yeah. I mean, today we're going to meet one of our ambassadors, Morgan Cameron. She also has done a lot of the before and afters, but we want to be part of your business and growth in this industry. We feel that you guys are so valuable. All the estheticians out there that are listening to this webinar, we thank you for that because you give us the opportunity to share.
Absolutely. With that, do we have any questions, Tiffany?
So I've been trying to answer some of these questions initially in regards to some of the questions. Just as a review with that, we did have a question in regards to Facebook group. If you wanted to join with Lyra Clinical Pros, and just going onto Facebook, finding Lyra Clinical Pros, you do have to answer a few questions and submit a copy of your license in order to be accepted into that group, because you do have to be licensed for that. If there are any students out there that are listening, we do have a specific Facebook group just for students, and those are Lyra Clinical Students in Training. And that is the Facebook group that you can also join that gives more specific information, you know, obviously that we have our skincare professionals that are still in school. Let me see here. Give me 1 second.
And Tiffany, we're starting new lives on Facebook Pro.
Yes, yes, we just recently, our Facebook Live Pro, we just recently had one of our international brand ambassadors, Monica Majera from Poland, and she actually was doing an application of our BB creams, which works really great for your SPF during these summer months as well. And let me throw this out here. I'm sure Ella or Metaxia, because I know you guys love the green power. We do have a question of green power peel with Vitabright. Can you use it on the neck and chest? And I'll be scrolling to see if I made sure I answered all of these.
Yes, you want to absolutely on the décolleté and in the chest, not as much pressure. I'm sorry, on the neck, not as much pressure, and then make sure you're massaging down with that. But yeah, it's gorgeous on the décolleté, especially for sun damage. Metaxia, would you agree?
I agree that, the skin doesn't stop at the jawline. So the décolleté in the neck is also something that shows the first signs of aging, but the whole body. I mean, we're finding that, we can do body peeling too. That's, something that we're, definitely encouraging. But the green power is such a unique modality in itself, and it offers so many different types of benefits. So we could use it as in many different carriers. So yes, I think that would be a great combination. It's about giving the skin giving us access to the epidermis, and that green power does give us a pathway and does give us access and stimulation, which is really good.
Real quick, for the body peels, you have to be a little more cautious with salicylic acid. You can only use salicylic acid to a certain percentage. So if you're going to do a back treatment, let's say for acne, you only do back, or if you do face or décolleté, that's where you're going to stop. It's still too toxic to use it on the whole body. Lactic is different. You can use lactic on the body, but not salicylic. So when we say body peels, just remember salicylic is not one you do on the entire body.
It's a 25% theory ratio. And like you said, I agree with you. There is certain things that we should be aware of, and that's why taking classes, having a resource with your reps to keep that communication open, I think it's valuable, because there is things that tips that we could help, educational presentations that will give you the encouragement, the technique, the suggestions. It's really important. Having a resource, I feel, is keeping you in the circle of Lyra's growth and education.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead, Tiff.
I was just going to say the last couple of questions. So hopefully this will kind of overview with some of them that have just come in. There are a couple of questions here in regards to where can you find more information about hybrid peeling, maybe going to advanced peeling and going to that next level of peeling. Please keep in mind that Lyra Clinical now offers in-person classes as well as digital classes in all of our smart peeling. The first step to kind of take in that education process is our fundamentals online certification that you can go to directly on the Lyra Clinical website. Once you've achieved that certification, that's where you can work one-on-one with your representatives to advance that education into smart peeling. We also will now be offering our advanced peeling class that will be available directly in your local areas from your Lyra Clinical representatives. We also will be having an advanced peeling, how would we call it, live webinar with our education team. That actually will be beginning the end of June. This is a class that you do have to qualify for. This is an advanced class that you do have to be using Lyra Clinical products and all of our resurfacing solutions and the Lyra Clinical skincare system for a minimum of 6 months before you could qualify for that class. So once again, it's kind of like same thing. It's kind of like academics, high school, college. Once you want to hit to that master's doctorate degree, you have to qualify for it. So you have to take the GRE or however you want to say it with that before you can advance to those advanced peeling courses as well. So we're really excited to be able to have those classes available to everyone. And you can go on to lyraclinical.com or contact customer service.
Can we talk about one other thing that's coming this fall? Drum roll.
Go ahead.
And speaking of qualifying education, it's a great time to get your prereqs out of the way, get your associates, your bachelors, and moving on to the masters, because coming this fall, you guys, practitioners, listen up. We have a new solution coming out that is purely amazing. It's
Good play on words, Ella. Good play.
It is so cool. You guys are gonna love it. But you have to qualify for it. So we got to get your education on point. Take the summer to do that. These classes as well, these live classes with Metaxia and Francine themselves are going to be amazing. But you have to qualify for that. So make sure that you're getting with your business development partner and knocking out those prereqs.
And Ella, you said something important, our business partners. are also phenomenal trainers and
Yeah.
educators. So they will get you started. They get you started. We have intro to smart system, Lyra Clinical Smart System. We have intro to smart peels. We have the Lyra Clinical Smart skincare system from your representatives, from your business partners who are educators. We also have the smart peels. You can get them on Zoom. You can get them on fundamentals. There's many different ways to get this education. So we are here to show you how to peel.
I have to say one more thing. Everyone, and you said this, Fran, every one of our representatives we think is the pillar of Lyra. And I have to say, David is new. How many months have you been with us now?
About 3.
3 months. We go back with David a long time. We knew him back a few years ago. I won't say how many years, David. But what makes Lyra different is that we're not looking just to have people that represent us. We're looking for qualified professionals. And David is one of the new ones. We're bringing another new rep very soon too. But if you just look at his background and his experience and look at the other reps that are backgrounds experience, they're sharing that knowledge with us and we're sharing it with you. It's not that you have to buy a certain amount to get the knowledge too. It's just really understanding they're giving you 100% of their experience and what they've learned in the industry. David is one of many of the reps that have actually come aboard and just shared what his life experience in the skincare industry. That is crucial. So and I'm going to say, Lyra is a team of professionals that we're very proud of. I'm a co-owner, Fran, Brenda, and Anna. We're very proud of what we put together because it is one of the best teams out there in the skincare industry. We're being recognized internationally. Our reps are getting questions from all over the world because of what they say and how they present. So we're a team here to change the industry and make it the best and give you the best options and the results. Real people with real results.
And we have to remember, June is acne month, acne awareness month. So you're going to be hearing about peels and acne quite a bit in June.
You're also going to hear in June, Ataxia kind of touched on it, but on June 29th is our next Skin Excellence Roundtable, where we're going to talk about skin below the chin and how to stay on trend with body treatments. Have you guys not seen such an, an influx of body treatments and corrective body products? It's like everybody's talking about it right now.
Yeah, Brenda said she's doing some research too, and she says that, we're trying to bring some new concepts and ingredients for the body, tightening and firming. And I mean, we're definitely, it's the body time right now. It's really, we're seeing a lot more ingredients coming to the market with some fun results.
And we have body treatments that gives you body for days because like someone mentioned the décolleté treatment, but imagine like crepey arms. I'm at that age where my hands, before you turn 44, you think you're invincible and you're not going to have that happen to you. But then you turn 44 and you realize, oh, it's happening. And so the green power on my arms and hands has been amazing for I would say like an AED defibrillator recharging collagen and elastin as I see it happening, but because we don't want it to go too far, but that's another one. So we do have, we're definitely developing more, but we have some really cool protocols right now too.
You guys, this has been a great webinar. Thank you for everything. Good to see you guys today and talk to everybody.
Yes. See you in Vegas. See you in Vegas, guys.
In
Vegas.
Thank you all, and it's great seeing it, at least
we got one more thing
today.
We've got one more thing, and that is the drawing of the Essential Kit. So I did text our customer service and ask them to pick a number between 1 and 279, and they picked one, and that matches up with Madeline Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, Madeline Cooper, if you'll just give us a little shout out in the question section, and then let us know that you heard that you won. I think I'm pronouncing it right, Madeline.
Yeah. Madeline is a fantastic esthetician in this industry.
Awesome. Well, she won.
Congratulations.
She's an essential esthetician.
Absolutely.
Good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Madeline.
Oh, sorry, Ella. I was just going to say, by way of the Las Vegas show, the end of June, For those of you, Metaxia will be doing a peel class, as well as Francine doing a class on rosacea and incorporating our new Pro Retinol Plus. So both of those classes are super awesome. So it's highly encourage you, if you are going to the Las Vegas show, to be able to see those classes as well.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all.
See you guys
Be
next
bright.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.